I'd like to talk to you today about my recent experience of being referred to a neuropsychologist. It may surprise you that even though I've been a patient for 16 years, undergoing various amounts of treatment and brain surgery, I've never yet had any counselling support or actually sat and spoken to anybody about the emotional or psychological impact. It's never been offered. I've never been aware of where I could get such help, and basically up to now I've just sort of struggled through with it. Anyway, last summer when I was told this tumour may be growing again, well, it was starting to grow again, I did get very concerned, and basically we started to really struggle with things and thought of facing, yet again surgery and whatever. And anyway, I did find myself in quite, a sort of difficult position of not knowing quite what to do next. Anyway, in the end I decided that I needed to ask for some help. So I went to see my GP and explained the situation, and basically she agreed to refer me through to a neuropsychologist. I did make it clear that I didn't just want general counselling or just to talk to anybody. It was specifically to do with my condition, not my particular condition, but this situation. I think I've already spoken about the fact that I've been taking medication for anxiety and stress and things, but obviously that's not, to me, the ideal way of dealing with things like this. It can maybe be a crutch to help you through things. But anyway, when I actually saw my doctor in September of last year, that was actually over 4 months ago. Now at the time, a referral was sent through for psychological help, and it was sent through as an urgent referral. So I expected to hear something within a couple of weeks, and I was told there was no waiting list, it'd be straightforward. Anyway, that was over 4 months ago. And what's gone on in between that, I have absolutely no idea, other than absolute chaos. No referrals come through. I've made countless phone calls to psychologists, to a consultant secretary, to the hospital, to my GP, to the practice manager, and it just seems that these referrals, I don't know where they've been going, and everyone's blaming everybody else. And again, as I said before, that's not actually my concern. I just wanted some help. This has continued, this sort of, well, what can I say, not very good behaviour really. I actually finally got an appointment through, and again this very poor practice continued. The letter I received didn't even have my flat number on. I do live in an apartment block, and there's numerous flats here. Now this was just sent to the building. So first of all, bearing in mind this is very important confidential information, which was well overdue and could have ended up anywhere. It was only by luck really that I found the letter. Again, because of the delay, I got another letter, very abrupt, not at all friendly, basically stating, if we sent you a letter, if we don't hear from you within a week, then we'll cross you off the list and assume that you don't want any help. And I have to say, I was furious. Basically, don't make a mistake and then blame me. And what sort of attitude is this from a patient with a brain tumour asking for urgent psychological help? I know it's not funny, but I could have taught myself. Is there no process to check on people who are obviously in need and in very difficult situation? Just to send a letter like that, to me, is beyond belief. I mean, customer care of the patient, the emotional, psychological impact. I found this process more damaging than if I hadn't asked for help. I think it's, as I said, it's taken years to actually admit that, I can't do everything on my own. And people have said, yes, you must ask for help, do ask for help. So to me, it was, first of all, it was a step in the right direction. I thought, right, I've come this far, I'm going to ask for help. And then what happens? You get ignored, you get knocked back, nobody knows what's happening. So that didn't help. So initially I'm thinking, what's the point in asking for help? And then on top of that, the process has been so... It's computers. I asked about the number on the address of the letter. Oh, it's a computer. I'm sorry, I'm not a computer. People aren't computers, and we don't want to be on some production line for these standard letters sent out. I've been a patient for 16 years and not had 1 ounce of psychological or emotional support, which in itself is disgusting in my opinion. And then to add insult to injury by losing and messing up the referrals, acting like pen pals to each other between doctors and consultants and whatever, is totally unacceptable. Now I did get to the point, I thought, this time I'm going to have to complain. But again, as it always comes back to with me, I think, what is the point? I'll speak to somebody in an office and she says, oh yes, sorry, it was the computer, we'll amend your address. That's not enough. People need to look at this process. When I met the psychologist, who was lovely, I mean, as always, when I finally meet the people, they're great. It's the process that seems terrible. I explained briefly to her, because again, what sort of position was that for me to go in? I was seeing somebody, and at the moment I actually feel fairly stable, and I thought it's a good time to talk, but I was going in to see somebody really wound up, and I thought, how ridiculous. I'm going to go in and I'm sure she'll be thinking, oh, she's really on the edge and really angry and this, that and the other, and that's only because of the process, nothing to do with my health, and it's a really bad reflection on me. So what I did was explain very briefly, and I thought, I'm not spending my consultation time discussing the rights and wrongs of the NHS, why should I? But I did explain briefly what had happened, because I thought, I want to get it off my chest, I don't want to sit here, but this is what happens. All these processes go on, and by the time you see somebody that will actually help, and it is more often than not a really lovely person, you're going in on the bounce, basically, angry, fed up with the system, sorry you're bothered, because you've been treated like, I don't know, a number, I don't know, worse than that, it's just disregarded. There's no thought behind any of it. This is psychological support. You don't send letters that are addressed to the wrong place. It's confidential information. It shouldn't be bandied around for anybody to pick up. It's very personal. If one of my neighbours had opened it, I don't want them to know I'm asking for psychological help. It's wrong on so many levels. And all this, I mean, again, I feel my blood pressure going up when I talk about it. This is somebody that is trying to relieve their anxiety and deal with a much more important issue, which is dealing with a brain tumour and dealing with my condition, not dealing with the process of hospitals and doctors and red tape, are far more important things to worry about. So again, I thought maybe this is a better opportunity to share these concerns rather than filing a piece of paper in a folder in somebody's office, because I don't know, the amount of talking people are doing, is any of it getting through? Oh, they're just piles and piles. I imagine there's just big stacks of folders of complaints piling up everywhere, and often all to do with the same thing. How many people has this happened to? How many people have felt insulted by the letters they get saying contact us immediately? I'm sorry, I've waited over 4 months. If I'd gone in and said contact me immediately within the week, that's not going to go down very well, but that seems acceptable. Why is it that patients have to put up with this very poor, inconsistent behaviour? And if we were to say anything, tough. Basically because they're abusing their power again. They're in a position to cancel your appointments, give you an appointment, send you a letter or not. What can I do? cut my nose off to spite my face and basically say, right, I don't want your appointment, I won't go. How's that going to help me? It's so unfair. And again, as I say, these systems are just totally, well, they're abusive towards patients. That may sound a strong word, but you're actually making the situation worse. You're stressing out people that are already stressed. You're undermining their self-esteem, their confidence. People are coming and asking for help, and everyone's sending referrals left, right and centre, and nobody's actually bothering to chase it up and pick up as that referral gone through. Maybe if somebody sent a referral, they could immediately ring where it's been sent to. Have you got this referral? Did it come through okay? Are you able to deal with it? Thank you very much. I'll leave you to contact the patient. No, let's just send letters off all over the place. Technology is fantastic these days. Send them, email them, fax them. Who knows where they'll end up? Maybe if people could just put a little bit of thought into it. Technology is okay, but again, this feeds into my concern about how much behaviour, how much time is spent on physical things, whether it's your physical health. That seems a lot more straightforward. There's a lot of physical support available, but it's not enough. Without the psychological help, you're going to undo all the good work. And I've said time and time again, people aren't cars, they're not machines, they're not an automated computer, they're people with feelings and emotions and needs. And that doesn't tie up with a computer. We don't link into a computer in that way. We need people that actually think. Computers don't think. They're just programmed. People can't be programmed. We're not robots. If you send a letter, check it's gone through, check the referral's gone through. If somebody doesn't respond, why haven't they responded? Are they ill? Did they not get the letter? Have they changed their mind? Are they suffering more psychologically? Don't just turn around and say, I'll just bin your appointment. That is just disgusting, absolutely disgusting, and no patient should ever be treated like that.